Andy Newman is, as it says in here, it is a fact, he's a keynote speaker, he's a professional speaking coach, he's a sales trainer and a corporate consultant. You're also a practicing attorney.
I am.
But I want to stick more to the keynote speaker, professional speaking coach, sales trainer, and consultant.
Okay.
Tell me the type of client that you're looking for.
Well, I've done a lot of personal coaching, CEOs, business executives. Definitely been hired to come to some corporations and do a seminar, 6, 8, 10, 12 people, whatever they need.
And the seminar topic is?
Communicate Like a Champion is my best one,
okay.
But it's really how to be a more polished professional speaker in literally every situation. Sometimes I focus it to salespeople specifically, but really it's geared towards anyone being a more effective communicator literally in every situation. So obviously anyone climbing the corporate ladder or any profession, you must have great communication skills, and that's really what I'm trying to do. And I pull from everything in my background, which is a little bit varied, and it helps me a lot teaching.
Okay.
Hopefully makes it more entertaining.
Are there any particular problems that your training helps your clients solve?
Well, you know, it's funny. All the clients call me and they always think their problem is unique, which is basically, I'm afraid to get up, I get nervous, I can't get in front of a group, I was suddenly promoted, I was a technical guy and now I have to teach 10 or 20 people, or I need to be a leader because I have a more responsible management position. I can't do it, I'm nervous, I'm stiff in front of PowerPoint, I overuse PowerPoint, or do I need PowerPoint? And they always think their problems are unique. And in reality, it's basically the same problem. They need to learn how to be a more dynamic, effective communicator in every situation. So. And if you're a good communicator in front of 3 people, 5 people, 10 people, 50 people, you could probably get up and be dynamic in front of 500 people. So the fundamental skills are the same, and that's how I teach people. But one of the key ways I teach people, people come to me and they expect me to tell them, well, put your hand this way, or have exact physical gestures. And of course, it's not about that. So I teach them how to be a better, more charismatic version of themselves.
Okay. Give us an example, and again, you don't have to name names per se, but give us some example of the type of clients that you've done work for.
Well, I will name a couple of names. Recently, Lennox Lewis, 3-time heavyweight champion of the world.
How did you help him? What problems did you solve for him?
Well, Lennox this was 2 months ago, and he's a good speaker, and he's a very personable guy. If you've gone to his website and seen him, he was recently, a few years ago, on The Apprentice. You know, he's a great guy and very personable. But his specific problem, which is usually the reason someone goes to the web and finds me, his problem was but the issue that drove him to the website was he had to give a commencement address to 5,000 young people at a very prestigious university in Canada, where he lived as a boy. So suddenly he's not on The Apprentice doing, you know, casual discussions, and he's not giving an interview after a fight before he retired, but now he's giving a commencement address. So very typically in his mind now, he's public speaking. So everything changed. So when he came to me, and we had 2 great private consultation meetings, I went down to Miami, and he had a speech written for him by a friend who was an attorney. And I looked at the speech, and the speech, with all due respect, I don't want to mention any names, I don't know the gentleman, but the speech was quoting Shakespeare. And I said, Lennox, is that something you really deal with every day, Shakespeare? I said, I don't. He said, no, not really. I said, this isn't right. They want to hear stories about the mental toughness, sorry, Steve, what got you to be the heavyweight champion of the world, 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. How did you do it? You know, that's extraordinary. And he said, well, I kind of have that. I'm talking about my life of purpose. I said, well, you are, and that's half of it. But after you talk about how you did it, the mental toughness and everything you did, now you got to relate it to them and inspire them, because that's really what it's all about at a commencement address. And of course, it was all about him telling a few great stories that really illustrated his life, how he had this wonderful life of purpose, and how he accomplished the things he did.
Okay.
And not just being heavyweight champion of the world, but he's really a great guy.
Okay.
So that was a good one.
It sounded like it. For our folks in the audience, the referral network members, referral agents, it sounds like celebrities that might, out of the sports world, might be a good source of referral for you. But tell them what would be a good source of referral. Who might they know now? What companies might they know now that might be helpful to you?
Well, another client of mine is Dunkin' Donuts up here in Palm Beach County, a major multi-unit franchisee. She has 5 units and she's currently planning to expand. So she brings me in to do general communication training for the employees at all levels, from the more entry level, the counter people, literally up to the managers and the executives.
How did you find that deal? How did you find it?
Personal referral.
Okay.
Personal referral. Someone knew me.
Here.
And of course with that it's communication skills, but it's also taking a background I have from owning real estate agencies and really talking a little bit about operations.
Right.
And while I don't portray myself as an operations expert, in the law they say, you know, an expert is someone that comes from out of town with a briefcase. In this area, I'm able to make a lot of stories, the McDonald's stories, Sam Walton, Walmart, come alive for them that maybe the franchisee can't do, or they're tired of hearing the same thing from the franchisee, upsell, upsell, upsell. But when you hear an outside guy in a suit that maybe is a little more experienced at speaking, I can make it more interesting, hopefully, to the employees. And so they've utilized me as a consultant to come in for big meetings quite a few times, and that's another example.
Okay.
Fort Lauderdale Association of Realtors has me in every year to do their Leadership Training Academy. 18 people that they bring along all year long, top realtors, that they want to be active in the community and be extremely active on the board of realtors.
Okay.
But they want them to have top-notch communication skills. So we do a 4-hour workshop every July, because it's a different group every year, and they bring me in to teach the workshop on communication skills.
So professional associations, whether they're real estate or any sort, that would have this type of training for their members.
Absolutely.
This type of professional development.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And literally any individual, group, corporation, or sales organization that really wants their members to have great communication skills.
Okay.
And I pull from my background as a trial lawyer, prosecutor, and I was in the real estate business for many years, a sales trainer of my own agents. I had multiple agencies right here in Broward and Palm Beach County, and just other things I've done. But
Okay.
all that hopefully makes me a decent communicator. I try and teach them.
Okay. Can you communicate to us your deal?
Yes, the standard deal, 20%, and certainly welcome any referrals and be happy to pay them. If it was a group, whatever the total gross was, it would be 20%. So would love to get as many good referrals as I can.
Let me see if I have any questions from our friends here, and see if they might have some questions about things that may refer to you.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Sure.
As a referral agent, I have a question. When you go into a group, say if you've got a small sales team and they want somebody to come in and help with their communications and with their sales, what kind of fees are usually involved?
Well, I don't want to, I'll talk to you afterwards. It really depends on how many hours they want, what they really want. Typical workshop, the Fort Lauderdale Association wanted me to do 4 hours. When I do my own in-house seminars, they're 3 hours. That's when the people come to my office, and I do that. I try and cap them at 12 people. The way I structure those, it's basically 2 hours of me, and the last hour everyone's getting up and actually speaking 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're doing a critique. And of course I try and make it as much fun as possible and not have pressure on people, just to give them a little taste of quickly speaking and getting the critique and trying to apply some of the concepts that I teach them. So it just depends. Some groups might want an all-day seminar.
Andy, we've talked about a lot of things, about some of the things you do, your deliverables to the public. You have seminars. Can you tell me a little bit about the seminars you do, and a little bit about the differences between the seminars you do?
Absolutely. Well, right now, to keep it simple, what I'm offering is 4 seminars, and the name of my company is the Newman Speaking and Sales Institute. So obviously speaking and sales are very related, but on the speaking side I'm offering 2 seminars, and the most popular one is Communicate Like a Champion. And that's the general encompassing, improve your communication skills, whether you're a middle manager, a corporate executive, somebody that suddenly realizes that they have to speak to a group or 5 or 10 or 50 or 100 people, anything to do with speaking and communication skills. It's a very popular seminar. The second one is Speak Without Fear. And again, a lot of communication skills, a lot of the same material, but more of an emphasis for the person that's really has tremendous anxiety about getting up and speaking in any situation. Whether it's literally somebody has to get up at a condo association, a corporate meeting, someone that's been promoted and suddenly speaking and presenting becomes a big part of what you have to do. And I actually have some people that are sales managers that have been speaking and selling for years and they still have the anxiety. And they come to me. So both of those courses on the speaking side.
Now the other side was the
sales side.
Okay.
And on that, we offer Sell with Power.
Okay.
And that's a general sales course for anyone that wants to improve their sales skills. And that includes obviously overcoming objections, probing for hot buttons, finding emotional responses, how to prospect, how to develop leads, and of course how to close, all with communication skills on top of it. Again, a 3-hour seminar.
Just a real quick question on that. What communication skills do you meld into, like closing or questioning? How do you meld the communication into the sales side?
Well, I'll give you a great example. A lady was at one of my seminars a couple of years ago, and she got up and I said to her, okay, well, let's see what you're selling. Pretend you're at a Chamber of Commerce meeting and you're going to sell your product. Okay. So she did 3 minutes, and she was a very nice lady, a sweet lady, in her late 50s, maybe 60 years old. There was only one problem. I had no clue as to what the product was or how it would benefit me. So I gave her the bad news and the good news. I said, the bad news is I don't have a clue as to what you're talking about. The good news is I'm going to solve this problem for you in the next 10 minutes and you're not going to believe it. And I don't mean to pretend that I'm a magician, but it was an easy problem to solve because I explained to her that she has the greatest thing that anyone can have as a salesperson. She appeared and truly was a nice, honest person. And I said, think about all, and I love cars, but think about when you go to a car dealership, what you have to overcome. The car salespeople often have to overcome, because frankly, they often look like maybe they're tough guys. This was this sweet little lady who had that tremendous asset. So I taught her some very simple techniques to explain the benefits and explain her business in a way that was much more understandable. She literally called me up 3 weeks later and said, you're not going to believe it. Everyone's buying my product. So that was just one example. So with any kind of selling, of course, you need to know the fundamentals of selling, right, but you also have to be a great communicator. So I incorporate the communication skills with the sales. The fourth one, the fourth seminar is Close Like a Pro.
Okay.
And obviously there's an emphasis on closing skills specifically, but also, again, incorporating great communication skills. So 2 on the speaking side, 2 on the sales side, and that's basically how I'm doing it now. They're all 3-hour seminars.
You know, okay. You give me a lot of information. It sounds like a lot of what you have in those 4 different seminars is motivational. Is there any way that you package this outside of the 3 hours to take the motivational side to the stage?
Well, that's a great question. I guess that's why you're doing this. You ask good questions. But it's very motivational, and I love to talk about the great business leaders of our time and draw from them. So whether it's Steve Jobs, obviously Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, Sam Walton, just draw on all these stories. I use political figures, I use stories from the legal world to inspire people and motivate people. So I like to believe, and I've been told, that it is very motivational. So from the keynote point of view, I'll definitely be available and would love to do and have done those 4 seminars only in a keynote form.
I like that concept because that's something I'll do too, is do the keynote first to set up the 3 hours of training afterward, to be entertaining and motivational and develop that type of bond with the audience that'll be sitting in with you for 3 hours. It's a great way to get that ice cracked.
Yeah, absolutely, and any one of the 4 seminars that I'm currently doing can be delivered as a keynote package that way.
Good.